Comment about the railings being somewhat low for what you would think modern standards would be. 1928 was not a breakthrough year for safety when it came to design. So yeah, you can see, for one, these beautiful chandeliers, which I'm sure some of you have been wondering about. Now these chandeliers range from 5 to 8 feet. They weigh roughly about 1,000 pounds. Beautiful pieces. They aren't lowered. Some people think they're lowered, but they actually have to go up on a cherry picker to replace the lights inside of them. So this one's about 8 feet. Like I said before, this is where east meets west in the hallways of the building. So they wanted this to be a more prominent fixture of the building. The one in front of the theater is also about 8 feet. The rest are about 5 feet. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. I've heard that they would take anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 to build today, just a single one. So really, really beautiful pieces. You could also see the ceiling up close here and see the amount of detailing that went into it. On the ceiling, you have 60 different nude muses and cherubs. They're frolicking among the evergreens and the hemlocks. No two are alike. Just like snowflakes, no two are alike. Really, really beautiful pieces. You also notice throughout the building, in the mosaic pieces on the first floor, right here, you've got more eagles. Above the Fisher Theater, even more eagles. Eagles are a big piece of the symbolism that went into the Fisher Building. They represent a couple different things. One side of their meaning would to represent the strength of the United States through transportation and commerce. You have these eagles with their wings spread, that the United States as an economy, strong, taking flight, potential to soar, to work towards greater things. You also use these eagles in the building to celebrate civilization through arts, culture, drama, and theater. It's one of the reasons that you have these eagles directly above the Fisher Theater that you might have noticed when we were walking down this way. They also pull from Greek mythology, the victorious eagles of Zeus that would fly above the Greek armies. Those eagles in Greek mythology represent celebrating arts, culture, civilization through those things. So it's kind of an interesting thing with the Fisher Building that it was built at this peak industrial time. It was built on the back of the automotive dollar, but it's also a building that works very hard to celebrate arts and culture. So it's a beautiful sort of relationship between industrial strength and culture. And those are really two of the main exports that the city of Detroit has been known for years and years and years, is cars and culture. And the Fisher Building really brings those two elements together in a way that I would argue no other building in the city really does. Some of the pop culture things in the building. We've had an episode of Mad Men filmed in the Fisher Building. A lot of the Transformers movies were filmed in Detroit and Michigan. And in Transformers 2, they go to visit a Russian embassy. That Russian embassy is the Fisher Building. So they transformed the Fisher Building to appear to be a Russian embassy. So if you go back and watch Transformers 2, it's kind of funny to spot that. So you can spot it right away after taking the tour. The other pop culture story that I really love is the story about WJR. The Fisher Building is home to a couple different radio stations, but their oldest tenant is WJR News Radio. They've been in the building since 1928. And if you ever listen to WJR, they say broadcasting from the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building in Detroit. Now, they don't say that by choice. As part of a sweetheart lease deal in 1928, they were required to say that as a way to help promote the building. I don't know if it still affects their rent today, but they do still say it today. That Golden Tower reference, that's another nickname for the building. That refers to the gold cap that was put on top of the building when it was first built. During World War II, Detroit became the arsenal of democracy. Personal automotive manufacturing sort of came to a standstill, and all of those plants were used to build tanks and planes and engines and different things for the war. Because of that, there was a concern that the city of Detroit could be subject to an attack of some kind. And they were worried that the Fisher Building being one of the more prominent skyscrapers on the skyline at that time, would be subject to an attack. Or that they would use the gold cap on top of the Fisher Building as a navigational tool to attack somewhere else in the city. So they decided to defuse that gold cap with asphalt until the war was over. When the war was over, they went to remove that asphalt, couldn't take it off without damaging the gold leaf underneath, removed the asphalt and the gold leaf and replaced it with green terracotta tile. So if you leave the building today and you look up, you'll notice that it is green tile. But at night they still use lights to make it appear to be gold. And it's still a really, really beautiful piece in the Detroit skyline. So that's kind of the backstory on that. Are you guys ready to head to the 26th floor? Cool, let's head.